Okay, very quickly before we get started, I've been having these weird audio issues where in either ear you'll hear some sort of popping or like staticky sound. I've been hearing it on Moist Critical's videos as well. I'm starting to think it's an OBS thing. I have no idea how to fix it. I've messed with my audio more times than I can count now, so if you hear it, let me know in the comments, and if you know how to fix it, because you'll hear it. So if you hear it and then know what the problem is, please let me know how to fix it because it's driving me fucking mad. Yeah, let's get into the actual video, please. So what we're going to be doing is going over a section from a Payday 3 update live stream with the developers Almir and Mio. And before I even get into it, I have to give full props to Mio for how articulate he is and how well he describes things. It's fantastic having him on these streams because he seems competent and he obviously knows what he's doing. He's an industry professional. It's fantastic to hear his thoughts and processes in terms of how they get the game design done. So it's fantastic. So full props to him. But this is where they talk about, this is where he specifically talks about progression. And I wanted to analyze it, go over some quotes, and then bring my own opinion about progression into it, kind of cross-reference what I think should be done and what they're doing, and why the progression in Payday doesn't work. I thought it would just be fun, quick, easy video to make, and it's a quick 3-minute section. So yeah, we're just going to analyze it, go as deep as we can, and have some fun while we're doing it.
Essentially, what our intent was with the challenge system is that players, just keep playing the heists. They, try out different weapons, they try out different heists, different play styles, and so on, and so forth. And they would be slowly over time getting, experience or infamy points and leveling up.
So the intent of the progression system, which Mio outlines, is fine. It's the intent of a lot of progression systems. They want the players to be able to try everything. They want the players to be able to have fun, experience everything there is to offer, and then the progression gives them more options. So the intent is fine. It's just obviously the execution that's not so fine.
In Payday 2, the higher level you are, the more power you have. Whereas in Payday 3, it's more like the higher level you are, the more options you have. That's why, enemies have the same amount of health across all difficulties, and it's not about getting as much damage as possible.
So he talks about how in Payday 2, the higher level you were, the more power you had, and in Payday 3 it's different. The higher level you are, the more options you have. And then he goes on to explain that the way that they thought people would play is not at all how people are playing. People are rushing the challenges. And I think this is important because you have these two different systems, one in Payday 2 and one in Payday 3, but the problem there is not with the system itself. When we're talking about optimal ways to play any video game really with progression, especially in a game like Payday, the problem is not with the system itself. It's not with what happens when you gain more levels. It's not with what happens, whether it's horizontal or vertical. It's not that. It's that people, no matter what the system is, people will find the most optimal way to play it, no matter what the system is. No matter how you do it, no matter how you make the progression system, no matter what you put into it, people will find the most optimal way to play. And with challenges, unfortunately, it's this, super repetitive, grindy, get the kill challenges done because that gets us the most XP quickly to level up, and then we can go horizontal. It's unfortunate, but I think it's just the reality. No matter what system you go for, people are going to find a way to abuse it, get it done quickly. Again, no matter what system you go for, I think that's just going to happen in a game like this. So yeah, let's move on.
Basically go in and farm, kills for the kill challenges and so on. And we didn't think people would resort to that, mostly because it's not what we thought was that was not optimal, because when you complete a heist, you get experience to level up your weapon and unlock skills. You get cash that you use for buying stuff from the vendor, upgrading or unlocking mods, exchanging it for C stacks. And you also get challenges in the meantime. So you're kind of doing three things at once, but if you just farm challenges, you're only doing one thing, and then you're bottlenecked by other things.
Okay, so this is also very important, more important than the last thing. We definitely step up in importance here, and there's some smoking guns in here too. But this is very interesting because he talks about how they thought the most optimal way to play would be to play heists normally, as in just go through a heist and complete it like you would. Because when you do that, you get currency, you get weapon XP, you get infamy points. So those are the three things. You get skill XP as well. So let's put those three things into context. Weapon XP / skill XP, currency to spend on whatever you want, and infamy points. Those three things have a value attached to each of them. The thing is the subjective value attached to each of those individually is going to be different for everyone, and the objective value that's attached to each of those is going to be different for each of them too, depending on how those systems work. And it's very hard to balance each of those things so that they are valued the same by everyone, which is why people are just grinding challenges to get infamy points, because currency is spent on things that are kind of lackluster / don't really matter / you'll get them later down the line, so they're not super easy to go for, or not super important to go for, sorry. And then the weapon and skill XP, one, it's abusable with a bug in the game right now, but two, the attachment system is terrible, so getting weapon XP feels lackluster anyway. It feels like it doesn't matter. So you have two systems essentially that people are going to value a lot less than the third system, which in this case is the infamy points to level up to give yourself more options, which obviously gives people a very clear optimal path to go for. That is so clearly the optimal path to go for. So again, it's very hard to get the value of everything you get from playing the game to match up with each other. It's hard. I'd say it's been done before. It's not impossible, but it's hard. But they fucked it up so much because two of the things aren't even that important / not really rewarding to go for. So infamy points and completing challenges is the best way to get yourself to the point where you can enjoy the game to the fullest extent. And if I was a game designer, I feel like I'd rack my head at night trying to figure out how to get all the, perceived value, the subjective value, and the objective value correct. It would kill me. But they've definitely not got it right in this one. So this is the smoking gun, this next upcoming statement. And when I first heard this on stream, I was watching this live, I'm pretty sure I actually had a fit, because there is simultaneously self-awareness in it and not self-awareness in it. Like there's retroactive self-awareness, but you'd think that... anyway, I'll just listen to it.
This is a very long-winded way of me saying we thought people would use the system in one way, but they ended up using it in a different way. We did expect that some people would rush challenges, but we also thought that, they would see that that's not actually the optimal way to play, because if you complete challenges early, you won't have them later. So when later, if you do all the kill challenges and then you're level 100 and then you start playing normally, you already completed the kill challenges, so now you have less challenges to complete. So you're kind of like taking an advance on your leveling rather than actually making progress. So it gets really weird.
Yeah. So if you complete the challenges early, you have no more challenges to complete. That is a red fucking flag. That's a huge red fucking flag in a progression system. Huge. There's nothing underneath the challenges. There's no fundamental through line, underneath the challenges to make the progression consistently satisfying. It's just challenges. That's it. And you can run out of those challenges. You can't just play the game to have fun but still kind of be rewarded. You just have to go through the challenges. That's it. Again, when I first heard this, I was like, how did this not come up in the development? How did this get through QA? How did this get through design? How did people at home, or how did the developers when they were playing, how did they not get to a point where their own challenges stopped and they were halted from... I just don't understand. I genuinely, when I heard this, I lost my mind. I don't understand how they can be so self-aware retroactively, but then this fully gets through during design phase. I have no idea. So the reason this is important is because players need some sort of safety net, I think, when it comes to general satisfaction from progression. At least that's how I think about it. And by safety net, I mean a progression system for the players to know that they're actually making progress, know that they're being rewarded, know that they're not just wasting their time when they're performing actions or completing certain things in the game. And that is incredibly important in a game like Payday, where you are spending 10 to 30 minutes in a heist and you're not getting rewarded for that heist at all is incredibly bad. Let's just go on a quick tangent about how I perceive progression in video games, or at least the two ways that I see them and how I think it should generally be done. Again, not all games have to do progression this way. I don't want to have to go off on a million different tangents to clarify every single thought in my head, but this is just kind of a general understanding of how I think progression should be done a lot of the time, especially in a game like Payday. So I see two different forms of progression. active progression, which is your main quests, your side quests, the open world activities that you're purposefully going for, things like achievements or, bonus challenges that you can, actually gun for, like, boss fights or things like that. And then there's passive progression. So it's underlying systems to add flavor to the game. So I'm talking the skill system that's done in Cyberpunk, where you have, Shinobi, Solo, Netrunner, and they all add up depending on what you're actually doing and, the actions that you're taking in the game. You have things like Tarkov's dozens and dozens of skills where you just run and you level up your endurance. You have something like the Borderlands Badass rank. Stuff like that just levels up, progresses, makes you feel good to some extent without you actually doing anything. That's passive progression. Now, again, you don't always need both these systems and they don't both always need to work perfectly, but this is kind of just how I see it. Like I guess base fundamentals for progression is you have an underlying main level system and then potentially some, skills off to the side or something like that. And then you have challenges, achievements, and things like that you can gun for that give you bonuses on top of what you're already earning. That's how it should have been done in Payday. It would have been so satisfying to just have a basic fundamental level system where you level your main level up through completing heists. And then you have challenges on top of that give you bonuses. So if you do choose to go for the challenges, you can level up quickly if that's something that you want to do. If you don't want to go for the challenges, then you can play the game for fun. You'll still be getting rewarded for it. You'll still be having progress sent your way in the form of XP or whatever it is from completing heists. But you still have that progression. Like, that progression is still there, and you can choose whatever the hell you want to do. You can go with whatever build you want to because that option is there, and you'll still be getting rewarded for it. There is very, very, very little freedom in this challenges system. They think that by making people go for being able to play with all these different weapons and forcing people to play with all these different weapons, I feel like they think that's freedom. That's not freedom. Freedom is being able to play with the, one gun throughout the whole fucking game. If you want to play with an LMG or an AR, there's no LMGs in Payday 3, but if you want to play with an assault rifle for the whole damn game, that's freedom. And that's how some people want to play. You have to make a system that respects those players. Otherwise, you fucked it.
But we also don't want people to, farm, whatever the shortest map in Payday 3 is over and over and over and over. If we were to add something like, you get infamy points from completing heists.
So in this clip, he's saying that they're worried about if they add XP on heist completion, then people will just go for completing the shortest heist over and over and over again to level up. This is another thing where, as a game designer, I would probably shoot myself over having to figure out this system, but from where I'm standing, I don't think you can stop that. I don't think you can stop people doing that, and it's also kind of just how some people want to play. And it's also, like, it's so clear in my head, I just don't know how they fucked it up, man. Okay, so you have this base XP progression system that when you complete heist, you get levels from it. Then you have people who will go for the shortest heist to level up the quickest. They'll go for the diamond heist or whatever it is, the jewelry store heist in Payday 2. They'll do that over and over and over again to level up quickly. It sucks when you're looking at it from a game designer point of view because you don't want people to play your game that way, but that's just how it is. I don't think you can stop that from happening because you have to account for everyone else. You have to account for everyone else. The thing is as well, is these challenges, again, they should have been flavoring, because imagine the person that goes for that jewelry store heist over and over and over again, levels up, he's passed through all the infamies, now he wants to go for challenges. Now they're there for his completion goals, now they're there for the bonuses, now they're there to help him level up in another scenario. They should have been flavor, not the actual system. But again, I don't think you can stop people from doing what they want to do. Payday 2 was such a freeform game with the modding and everything else that went into it and how people played it. You have to bring that back. You can't limit people like this. People are going to be fucking livid if you continue to limit people as to how they want to level up, how they want to play the game.
People have like, we'll just do this. Just put this in. And it's very hard because that'll mess up a lot of other systems and a lot of other things we want to do long term. So it's our job to do it right. It's your job to call us out if it's not working, and you have been doing so, and we appreciate that. So yes, long way away. We wanted it to work a certain way. It's obviously has not landed like we wanted to, and we are looking into that, and we apologize for it.
So Mio then goes, after explaining the whole intent and the missteps that they took, he then says to add something new to the game is hard, because adding some sort of new progression means that they have to consider everything else with progression. They have to consider the other elements of the game that all have formed to create what Payday 3 is now. And I absolutely agree with him. If they were to add XP to heist completion, that would fuck with a lot of different systems. More systems than people are happy to admit. And it scares me knowing that this is the this is the process that game designers have to go through. If a game like Payday 3 launches and you have this massive problem, one of the scariest things as a player is looking at that problem and going, oh shit, you know, to fix this, they're going to have to fuck with so many other systems in the game that actually kind of work fine as they are, but they might be fucked up if they, you know, try and fix this one fundamental problem. It's a scary prospect, but he's right. They have to consider every other system in the game before they add something like a fundamental change to the progression system. And then again, he goes on to apologize for it. And again, I'll give full props to Mio. The whole 3-minute section or whatever it was explained incredibly well and articulated with enough detail that actually allowed me to make a video on it. You know, it's great. So thank you to Mio for explaining it. Yeah, it's fantastic that he showed up on the stream. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. It was a very ranty video. What, we at 20 minutes now? Okay, I can probably cut that down. But no, I appreciate everyone watching. If you did stick through the rant, again, if you notice the audio issues, please let me know in the comments, and hopefully I can sort those out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something as well. This is just how I kind of view progression. It was very ranty, so I didn't have a script. I was just, you know, going as I said shit. So I didn't actually get all my thoughts out, and I probably didn't get them out in the most articulate way. But hopefully it was entertaining. Without a script, I can put more energy into it and just fucking go ham. So hopefully that's what this was. But again, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you're entertained. If you were, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you later.